Everybody can arrange an alphabetical list by sequence.
But why is the alphabet in alphabetical order?
It all started in prehistoric cultures. Prehistoric cultures are classified as those that did not write. Human prehistory is the period between the use of the first stone tools 3.3 million years ago by hominids and the invention of writing systems. The earliest writing systems appeared 5,300 years ago, but it took thousands of years for writing to be widely adopted, and it was not used in some human cultures until the 19th century, or even until the present. The end of prehistory, therefore, came at very different dates, in different places, and the term is less often used in discussing societies where prehistory ended relatively recently. Oh yeah, and thousands of years ago, the ancient cultures of Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and Mesoamerica learned to compose separately. Scientists concluded
that each one of those methods have inspired the other four writing methods of history.
the English language is based on the
5,000-year-old Mesopotamian culture, but that will not happen until the Phoenicians innovated through a pictographic
writing of their day and gave specific sounds to specific symbols to the creation of a true alphabet. This became a huge deal as this happened in 14th century BC. This has revolutionized commerce, made it easy to say stories, and raised the literacy rate of citizens significantly,
as it is so much simpler to know an alphabet
than to know the definitions
of many symbols. Many symbols. Yet the Phoenician script had only 19 letters, all of them which were consonant, no vowels. Yet this is not just the Phoenician script. Many ancient alphabets had this feature,
which functioned more as a shortcut for correspondence than as a fully functional storytelling device. The Greeks adopted the Phoenician script, so they had an idea and were like,
hey, we wanna use vowels in this alphabet, be kinda nice. So they did, and then the Etruscans were inspired,
whose script would become the Latin alphabet that the Roman Empire would introduce across Europe. Each society inserted and subtracted icons, thus keeping the overall scheme framework the same, which is why apparently seemingly unrelated languages such as Georgian and Urdu have the same alphabetical form as underlying English, French, Arabic, and Russian. Are there any instructions for alphabets other than ours? While the Phoenicians introduced the ABC order that we know about today, it wasn't the only game in the region. There are many language scripts that stem from Phoenician, which use a slightly different sequence. Ethiopic languages such as Amharic, Tigrinya, and Ge'ez use a writing style that goes back to the 9th century BC that has a particular lettering sequence that works much like this: H, L, M, Q, W, R, T, S, K, N, B, P, A, G, D, Z,
and
Y. It seems like we owe the order of the modern alphabet to the scribes across the ages who actually looked through all the choices available, stumbled across this specific order of the Phoenician method, and said to themselves, "This looks pretty fine."
here's the catch. People in Asia didn't even have an alphabet and worked just fine. I'm talking about countries like Japan, Korea, Tibet, and Mongolia. The Chinese system was already a highly developed writing system by the time the Phoenicians came around. Influential cultural contact between East Asia and Europe wouldn't occur until the time of
Genghis Khan.
roughly 2 millennia later.
Did you know that Egypt lost its ancient writing system when it became a Roman province in 30 BC? Rich and government administrators could know these ancient hieroglyphic
Writing system.
but it's one of the most famous ancient writing systems.